is every bet I placed at UFC Rio. First off, here is every fight that I am not betting for various reasons. First up, Ricardo Ramos taking on Con Ofli. These guys are both very untrustworthy. I am not betting Ricardo Ramos at favorite odds, and I'm not betting a guy that's 0-2 in the UFC. Julia Pilastri taking on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. These odds are just insane. We got women's MMA, and we have someone that's not really a potent finisher as a minus 500. Yeah, I'm good. Irina Alekseeva taking on Beatriz Mesquita. Beatriz is making her UFC debut. It's women's MMA, and she's minus 525. Infinite red flags. I have Beatriz to win by sub, but way too many red flags. Vicente Luque taking on Joel Alvarez. Alvarez is minus 600. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to put him in a parlay and it adds like $10 to it? No. Am I going to bet him by sub because that's what I picked? I mean, he can KO him. And am I going to bet him by KO? Well, no, because he can sub him. So, yeah. Devison Figueiredo taking on Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson is minus 340. So, I think he wins the fight by decision. I wouldn't be shocked to see him finish Devison. And I also think there's a slight chance that Devison will have takedown success and actually win the fight. So, no interest in betting any of these. First fight we have a bet on is Lucas Rocha taking on Stewart Nicoll. And in this one, I have Stewart Nicoll to win by submission. I think he'll have loads of takedown success. Lucas Rocha, if there's one thing we know about his game, it's that his takedown defense is very, very mid. So, Stewart Nicoll by sub is the pick, but the bet is 2.12 units on Stewart Nicoll moneyline, minus 105. This guy was minus 300 in his UFC debut, gets guillotined by Jesus Aguilar. Now he's the underdog against Lucas Rocha. I don't think Lucas Rocha is that good. I think he might have some KO ability, fire a knee up the middle. It really depends how bad Stewart Nicoll actually is. I tend to think that he's pretty good. So, let's see him get his first UFC victory this weekend. Next fight we have a bet on is Vitor Petrino taking on Thomas Peterson. And in this one, I simply think Vitor Petrino is taking the Jailton Almeida game plan straight from the textbook. He's going up from light heavyweight to fight heavyweights that have a grappling deficiency. Thomas Peterson has never been taken down, and he's actually the one offensively wrestling. But if he were to get taken down, I think Vitor Petrino will eventually find the sub. So for that reason, he did it against Austin Lane. He made it look easy. I think against Thomas Peterson, he gets him to the ground. He'll find it. Vitor Petrino by sub is the pick. Petrino by sub is the bet. Plus 600. I threw 1 unit on it. Usually when I have a prop that's this long shotty of odds, I'll put 0.4 units. But Petrino by sub, it seems like that's the most likely outcome. I think he has the KO upside to also knock out Thomas Peterson. But if he's going to take the path of least resistance and do what he did exactly in his last fight, plus 600, I'll take it. Next fight we have a bet on is Lucas Almeida taking on Michael Aswell. And in this one, there's a couple things. Number one, I simply refuse to pick or bet someone that is 0-2 in the UFC. It's funny because I bet Stewart Nicoll, who's 0-1 in the UFC. But he's fighting someone who I think also is winless in the UFC. Regardless, Michael Aswell, 0-2 in the UFC, moving up in weight. I don't like that. Why are you moving up? What, bantamweight was bad? The weight cut didn't look bad. It looked like he fit at bantamweight. But moving up to featherweight, don't like that. Lucas Almeida will have the UFC experience edge. I think Lucas Almeida has more power on the feet to swing rounds in his favor. And I even think Lucas Almeida can sneak in a takedown to also turn around in his favor. Michael Aswell is a volume machine. So if this just is standing for 15 minutes, there's a very real chance Aswell just wins by decision. But if Almeida mixes in takedowns, if Almeida fires the big power shots like we know him to do, I got Lucas Almeida to win by decision. And I'm putting 1 unit on his money line, plus 118. Not my most confident bet or take, but at plus money, you're giving me the guy with the UFC experience edge, the Brazilian fighting in Rio, and the guy with way more finishing upside, and the guy that can mix in a takedown. Give me Almeida. Next fight we got to bet on is Jafel Filho taking on Clayton Carpenter. And this one, it's a battle of grapplers. And usually when that happens, it stays standing. And if it stays standing, I think Clayton Carpenter has way more power. I think he's going to throw with way more volume. He's just going to be the way better striker in this matchup. I think he's also very live for a KO as well. If we're going to talk about the grappling, well, Jafel Filho, I do like him in the past because he just shoots for takedowns. He's relentless with it. He's kind of like a flyweight Brazilian Marab in a sense, but he lacks the cardio and he lacks the durability. So if you lack the durability against Clayton Carpenter, you're live to get finished. And if you lack the cardio to continuously shoot takedowns against Clayton Carpenter, I think the tides will turn in the grappling, and Clayton Carpenter can even land takedowns of his own. So give me Clayton Carpenter KO as the pick. 2.48 units on Carpenter moneyline as the bet, and 0.2 units on his KO prop, plus 1,000. Those odds are way too juicy for me. I think if he lands something big on Filho, he's going to look for the door, and I anticipate that happening. Plus 1,000 is crazy odds. Next fight we got to bet on is Jhonata Diniz taking on Mario Pinto, and in this one, neither guy is shooting a takedown, okay? Neither guy is shooting a takedown, and they both have the ability to knock out the other guy. However, I think Mario Pinto nearly got knocked out by Austin Lane. And if you're nearly getting knocked out by Austin Lane, and that was the only jump up in competition he's had so far, and Jhonata Diniz is a former Glory kickboxer, I can't pick against Diniz if I know there's no threat of a takedown. So give me Jhonata Diniz to win this by decision. Wouldn't be shocked to see a knockout. I got 2.88 units on Diniz moneyline, minus 144. This is my biggest bet straight of the entire card. Actually, that's a lie. We're going to find out soon what my biggest bet is. But Diniz moneyline, very confident he wins this. I don't think he's going to get clipped. And if that doesn't happen, he can win by points, he can win by volume, or he can even land something big on Pinto. We've seen him knock down in the UFC before. Next fight I got to bet on is the main event. Charles Oliveira taking on Mateusz Gamrot. When the lines first dropped on this fight, Gamrot was plus 120. He is currently a pick'em. I thought Gamrot would be closer to minus 200. Minus 300. I think he's just a way better fighter at this point in both Oliveira and Gamrot's careers. We know Gamrot's going to shoot takedowns, and we know Oliveira is going to pull guillotine or try to reverse positions, but I think Gamrot's just going to have way too much top pressure. I think his wrestling chops are good enough where he's not going to get caught into a silly submission, and that's really the only way he loses. On the feet, yes, Gamrot's durability is in question. He's been knocked down in nearly every UFC fight he's had, but I tend to think that Oliveira might be over the hill as well. So even if it stays standing, I think Gamrot can land something big on Oliveira. He got knocked out 4 months ago by Ilia Topuria. 4 months ago. Give me Gamrot to win this by decision. My biggest bet of the card. I thought it was Diniz. Low-key, I forgot. I put 3 units on Mateusz Gamrot plus 100. I think that was a great line. Mateusz Gamrot, he has the style to win fights, and he's never been finished. So I'm not expecting Charles Oliveira over the hill to get the finish. Of course, I got to hit you with at least one parlay. So the first leg we got is Luan Lacerda moneyline. I mean, if he goes out there and somehow loses to Simon Oliveira, who missed weight by 8 pounds, not taking this seriously at all, that is a humongous cause for concern. So he should go out there, win. I think he wins by KO. I wouldn't be shocked to see a sub or even a decision. Leg number 2. Vitor Petrino taking on Thomas Peterson. We bet his sub, but on the chance that he knocks out Peterson or he just holds Peterson, we're betting his money line as well. So you shove these two guys in a parlay. 2.56 units will win you minus 126. So that wins you 2 units. Apologies. These are my basically 2 most confident picks on the card that have somewhat good odds. Obviously, we got Julia Palastri, Beatriz Mesquita, Joel Alvarez. They're all minus 600. We're not betting that. We have to bet something that makes sense. And this, in my opinion, it makes sense. And the Finz Hammerlock. This is my weekly most confident underdog pick. But if you've been paying attention, this has become a weekly fade. All right, we're 25-52. You should not be tailing this. However, last week, we actually broke the 8-week curse. We were losing 8 weeks in a row, and Ramiz Brahimaj comes through as the Finz hammer lock. So once we have a win, you got to start tailing. This is no longer a fade at the current moment. You must tail. And for that reason, we're going with Lucas Almeida. Moneyline, plus 118. I threw 1 unit on him. As you can see, it was a free bonus bet. But we still are confident this guy goes out there and wins. He's the only guy that I have currently listed as an underdog that I bet as an underdog. Stewart Nicoll was a possibility, but he's minus 105. Mateusz Gamrot was a possibility, but he's a pick'em odds now. Clayton Carpenter was a possibility, but he's minus 120. So the only guy that's an underdog still that you guys can bet is Mr. Almeida. So let's cash these tickets. Of course, I can't leave you without giving you an insane long shot. This week, we got enough legs for a cycle, which basically means 1 KO prop, 1 sub prop, 1 decision prop. Shout out to Matty Betts. Here we go. Let's dive in. Vitor Petrino by sub. I already explained why I think that slaps. Clayton Carpenter by KO. I already explained why I think that slaps. And Lucas Almeida by decision. $7 wins $3,000 on something that I think is pretty likely. I don't actually think we've hit an insane long shot on this portion of the YouTube channel yet. But if we do, it would be this week.